Here's one. They score! They score!
Welcome to God's Playbook with your host, Father Rico Passero.
Look at the 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Touchdown!
Let's play ball.
Friends, welcome back to God's Playbook. Today we continue in the first reading at Mass to hear about the dialogue and experiences between Saul and David. Saul today, as he tracks down David and his entourage, enters a cave to use the facilities. In this instant, and after some time passes, God tests David and allows Saul to fall under his grasp. David has the opportunity to take out Saul, who is trying to kill him. Saul's son Jonathan warns David to flee, and so he and his entourage have fled into this cave. Interesting how God sets David up to test him to see what he would do. David doesn't totally pass the test and still chooses to cut part of the garment. This shows that while he is remaining righteous by not slaying Saul, an immediate threat to his own health and well-being, but he still cuts part of his garment, to which after doing so, David immediately regrets what he had done, since Saul was the anointed one given to the people by God. The dialogue that continues shows that indeed Saul comes to realize that he has been saved by David's compassion. He has given David all the reason to slay him since he was trying to have David killed. And yet, David passes the test by not slaying Saul. Saul then comes to the realization that indeed David should be king, and one day he will be king. This passage for us teaches us so much, friends. It shows that to be a righteous follower of God, we're to do the right thing no matter what. Even when people who have done wrong to us are delivered into our hands, how are we going to respond? I think of the story of Joseph and his brothers. They sold him into slavery and pretended that he was dead, telling their father that he was dead. And yet, when famine comes, Joseph, a high-ranking official in the Egyptian world, has the opportunity to lash out at his brothers, and yet he chooses compassion. David has the ability to kill Saul. He chooses compassion. Jesus, with all the reasons as God and as Messiah to be vengeful towards us sinners, and he chooses compassion. God is calling us to choose compassion too. The way we interact with one another, especially those who have wronged us, really helps to build our character and identify if we are truly living as a Christian or not. How do we respond when people wrong us? Do we seek ways of getting even? Do we look to ways of revenge? Or do we rise above, keep our standards high, and try to live holiness and righteousness in the sight of God? David's test is our test too. Please God, nobody's out to kill you. But in some ways, people are out to kill our reputation. Perhaps they may be jealous or threatened by us. Maybe it's someone who's acting like a bully. Or maybe we have done something that has warranted someone else to seek revenge against us. Yet whatever the case might be, friends, we're called to rise above. We're called to continue to do the right thing, and to be compassionate, have the heart of Jesus as opposed to the heart of a regular human being who might seek to get even or to make amends. It's also important to realize the times where we are like Saul, to realize that things could be much worse than they are. Sometimes when you and I have hurt others, instead of seeking revenge when others have forgiven us, how does that make us feel? When we examine our lives and realize that people have been compassionate to us even when we didn't deserve it, does it not leave us in a position of great gratitude? Should this not encourage us to do the same thing in a future situation? The interactions between Saul and David have so much to teach us as individuals, as a church, as a family. Today, I encourage each one of us to spend the time to really realize and to focus on the ways in which we can be more compassionate towards others and to realize when compassion has been given to us. How can we grow in holiness and righteousness today? For God's Playbook, friends, I'm Father Rico. God loves you, and so do I.
If you like what you hear, please consider supporting us using any of our affiliate links in the description below via Buzzsprout, Ko-Fi, or GoFundMe. Thanks, and God bless.